video does exist, it was low and outside. The mound is really far from home plate. Good morning, everyone. It is a gift to be with you this morning. Thank you, Betsy, for those really warm remarks. To the Mothers Club, Kristen Pearson, and the entire Mothers Club leadership, thank you for this invitation. President Marinacci, Principal McCall, and the entire prep community, good morning. I'm not a stranger to the prep. I just used the women's room and it was like stepping into 1991 at a prep dance. It all came back to me. My maternal grandparents and my paternal grandparents were married at the J Zoo. I walked these halls way back. I went to the pre-8th grade summer program, and I have a couple other claims to fame. Mr. Connors was my 6th grade teacher at St. James in Elkins Park. And 2 other prep teachers are good classmates and friends of mine from St. Joe's, Chris Curtis and Dino Pinto. And perhaps my favorite claim to fame is prep's ice hockey goalie Declan Geary, with his mom, one of my lifelong friends, Renee Geary. I'm well-versed in the prep LaSalle rivalry, and I was at the other game last night in South Philly, and I think we all agreed we were all looking for a different outcome to both games. As Betsy mentioned, I'm well steeped in Jesuit values, my undergraduate degree at St. Joseph's University and a graduate degree at Seattle University. I'm also a neighbor of the prep. For the last 16 years, I've had the opportunity to call Habitat for Humanity home. Our office is just 5 blocks north, if I've got my orientation correct, 19th and Montgomery. And almost daily, sometimes twice a day, I drive by the prep. I recognize that I stand between you and kickoff, so I'll keep it moving. I'll offer a few reflections this morning. One about possibility and awe, one about a new ecosystem, and 3, the power of yes. And my reflections this morning are geared towards you, prep students, but I hope it'll spark a little conversation on your ride home with your mom, perhaps with your family this evening or later this week. So let's start with possibility and awe. In January 2017, I put 2 Post-it notes on my front door. My own call to action, right? A daily reminder. One read, what's possible? The other, be in awe. And right around that same time, my 6-year-old niece and nephew were over. Brendan was wearing his Nick Foles jersey, and he read the first Post-it note, what's possible? What does that mean, Coco? What does that mean? And I said, what do you think will happen? What could happen when we walk out that door? And he thought for a split second, and he said, Eagles will win the Super Bowl. And sure enough, I think we can all thank and remember Nick Foles and the Philly special and the outcome of Super Bowl 52. That's what possibility means. Possibility is in the air at the St. Joe's Prep. It's harnessed by your faculty who challenge you to be innovative in thought, sparked by coaches and advisors who empower you to believe in yourself and your own possibility. It's witnessed in the beauty of the canvases you paint, woven into the skilled rhetoric and debates. We even heard it in the voices of the J Zoo this morning. Each morning, as you pull out your blazer that is, I'm sure, just clean and crisp right there on the front edge of your locker, as you dig into your locker and pull out that blazer, let it be your daily reminder, your own Post-it note, what is possible. And as you wear your blazer, challenge yourself every day to believe in your own possibility. The other note on the front door, right, it said, be in awe. So not to be upstaged by her brother, Beatrice, she wrinkles up her nose and she says, what does be in a we mean? I paused. Be in a we. And before I could answer, Beatrice says, oh, I get it. There's 3 of us. We're in a we. This morning, we are in a we. A resilient, flourishing we of 360 plus students, moms, aunts, stepmoms, grandmoms, caregivers, teachers, staff, and even bigger we of the prep community. We're also in awe of you. Your courage to show up big in the classroom, on and off fields, and ice rinks. Had to give another plug to ice hockey. I'm a little biased. And as classmates and teammates on stage and in debates and in the community through pet ministry and service. We're in awe of your belief in yourself, your future, and the possibilities contained in each of you. Trust me, prep students, you are the future. And at Habitat for Humanity, we're in the possibility business too. The work we do at Habitat for Humanity is impossible. We sell homes to people who do not qualify for traditional mortgages. We build homes in neighborhoods where most folks would never think to buy. We repair owner-occupied homes that have not had running water except from the leaks or electricity in years. We even sell stuff at our restore that have been discarded by other folks. And yet, what we do is possible. And possible because of the awe we have for our partner families who carry incredibly heavy burdens on their path to home ownership. We have awe for the generosity and the support of thousands. Little plug, Monday is our day of giving. I had to get it in there. Right? We have awe for the generosity of thousands who support our work and empower us to lay foundations, build walls, repair roofs, to make homes possible. And as a result, the intangibles of hope and breath and opportunity, wholeness become possible. We repaired a home on Oxford Street, just a few blocks north of here, where the owner, Miss Nikki, she had lived there for decades. The roof had leaked through the second floor, leaked through the kitchen, so she closed the second floor bedroom. She stopped using the kitchen. She had been living in her living room for 10 years cooking on a hot plate. Habitat repaired the roof, the bedroom, the kitchen. Very practical repairs that made her home safe, warm, and dry. And when Will, our construction teammate, installed the oven, Miss Nikki said, "My favorite thing to do is bake, and I can finally go back to church again." Because her favorite thing was to bring something for the bake sale at fellowship after church. Her exact words, "I feel whole again." My challenge to you, prep students, infused with Jesuit values of being men for and with others, be in a we to make the impossible possible and all of us whole. Second, a new ecosystem. Recently, I made a really hard leadership decision. We walked away from a property. It had been vacant for years, and we had acquired it with the intention to rehab it and sell it to a family. But we walked away. And we walked away because that block, that one house on that block was not enough to change the ecosystem. That block was not safe, not for the family who would buy it, not for the team working there, not for the volunteers, not for anyone. And that decision to walk away motivates me every single day. At Habitat for Humanity Philadelphia, we have an audacious vision, and that is a world, a country, a city where everyone, and I do mean everyone, has a decent place to live, where everyone belongs, where everyone matters, full stop. Habitat believes, I believe, it is entirely possible, there's that word again, possibility. It is entirely possible to infuse our city with enough affordable housing to change the ecosystem of Philadelphia, not just block by block, not neighborhood by neighborhood, rather our entire city. Through affordable housing created, preserved, stabilized, we will tip the scales to create a new ecosystem of stability, self-reliance, and opportunity. My question for you, students, what is your audacious vision? Where are your talents and your creativity needed to change ecosystems? I'll offer one. Children who grow up 5 blocks north of the prep have a life expectancy that is 7 years less than children who grow up 5 blocks south of the prep. How do you want to be in service to build a new ecosystem that challenges that 7-year life difference? How do you want to be of service to build a new ecosystem where everyone is seen, valued, mattered, where everyone belongs? I challenge you, harness your own audacious visions, grounded in prep values to change these ecosystems. We need you, we're counting on you to tip the scales for the greater good. And last but not least, the power of yes. I know there's real power in the Habitat for Humanity yes. When families are accepted into our program, it's oftentimes the first time they've heard yes. Yes, you belong. Yes, you are needed. Yes, you are valued. Yes, you're needed. You're a part of this ecosystem. The Habitat yes can spark other yeses. Consider this evolution of yeses. 1904 Wilt Street was the first home built by Habitat for Humanity way back 1985. It was owned by the Butler family. When they passed, it was sold to a second Habitat homeowner, Miss Johnson. She raised her son in their home. He's now grown, has his own family down in Delaware. Miss Johnson is a kind-hearted neighbor. I see her, right, coming and going. She's walking to catch the 33 bus. She's always quick to ask, how's your family? How's your mom? You work too much? Take it one day at a time. That's one of my favorite Miss Johnson nuggets. I saw her not too long ago. She was headed to the bus stop. She was holding tightly to a little person's hand. I asked her, I said, Miss Johnson, is that one of your grandkids? Nope, this is Genesis, her foster child. He's 3. Recently placed with Miss Johnson in her safe, warm, and dry home. That morning, she wrapped him up in love and a gigantic Batman backpack. It's bigger than him. And the two of them were making their way to school. She works at a daycare center, and Genesis was now enrolled as a student. So that first yes on 1904 Street tipped the scales for the Butler family, the Johnson family, and now Genesis. Genesis has a new beginning. Ironic, right, with his name. Safe, warm, and dry. Seen, valued, needed. Needed in this ecosystem where we keep our hearts open and in order to say yes to what's possible. So, prep students, with this school year in front of you and all kinds of ecosystems that need your yeses, your families, your classrooms, your community, are you ready to harness your courageous and collective power to tip the scales for the greater good? Here's the great news. You have the power because of your prep yes. Your prep yes empowers you to lead courageously. Your prep yes challenges you to do good today and better tomorrow. Your prep yes will absolutely open doors. Your prep yes will spark yeses for others. I challenge you. The moment's now. Be of service. Be men for and with others. It is entirely possible to change the ecosystem. We are counting on you. Be in awe and always in OE. Thank you very much.